How are you guys doing? How was your day today? I have a few messages waiting already in the chat box. Very nice. People are learning to be punctual now. Hi Anuj, hi Aju, hello Dimple. Hey Anuj, I'm doing great, man. I'm doing amazing. Thank you very much. I hope you're doing fine as well. Everything's fine in the city that you live in. Aju, hey man, the weather in Chennai, I don't know if you've been to Chennai, but the one thing that people do not like in Chennai is the weather. Although we've gotten used to it, but yeah, summer in Chennai is like, you are on Mercury right now, you understand, right? Like that close to the sun. It's pretty hot in the summers. Yes, in the winters it's hot. So Chennai has only one climate, summer. There's more summer, less summer. That's it. There's nothing in a between. There's no other variation of it. And sometimes when it feels like raining, it'll rain. Sometimes it won't rain. Sometimes it'll rain too much. Hi, hi Anjali. Hi Haryanvi. Haryanvi song kicking. Uh-huh. Right. Yes, I guess we are on track, right? This is my second lecture on understanding time, speed, and distance. So, the concepts that we've already covered in the previous lecture are the basics of time, speed, and distance. We've also looked at the conversion of the units. We've looked at what average speed is and what relative speed is. Yes, and in today's session, what we're going to cover is the other half of it, that is effective speed, which is nothing but boats and streams. And we have trains to cover as well as races. Yes, so that is the plan for today's session. Yes, I hope you guys are super excited, super stoked as well, right? I am very much excited for today's session. Yeah, great. So many people, so many people. Hi Ayushi. Hi Ankit. Hello Namisha. Hi Neha. Hi Rochelle. Vibhor. Hello Archana. Hi Redox. Good evening. Great, super. Yeah, so I guess everyone's ready with everything that we need. Is there anyone who is new here? Yes, if there's anything, uh, if there's anything you think is missing from the usual, a notebook, a pen, and a big bottle of water. That's something that would that we need for today. Anuj, I don't understand what you're saying. CET King told me about Pagagus, Pajagus. Is that a word? Can you be a little more clear, Anuj? Right. Hi, Shivam. Good evening. Hello. Hi, Girish. Hi, Niranjan. Superb. Niranjan is new here. Welcome, welcome, Niranjan. Hi, Akash. Hello. It's anyone who is new here has to see my face 3 times. So you see my face 3 times now. Yes, one life size, one extra large, and one extra small. My name is Amit Surana. I am an aeronautical engineer from Chennai, and I have trained for 5+ years on quantitative aptitude, and I've helped over 2 lakh students achieve what they've always wanted for their lives. If you're planning on sharing this on any of your social media platforms, guys, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, do not forget to use this hashtag cat live daily. Yes. And if you're planning on tagging me, then I guess there'd hardly be, a few Amit Suranas, yes, from Chennai. So you'll probably be able to find me there as well, right? So if you're planning on tagging me, then go ahead and do that as well, right? I'm not gonna hold back. Yes, super. Yeah, Anuj, packages, as in packages for studying. Hmm. Redox, you want one word in Tamil? I'm gonna give you one word in Tamil. It is Tamil. Such lame, I know. Very lame. Yes. uh, Vanakkam. எப்படி இருக்கீங்க? I think there's too many words. Yeah. Great, super. So, about our community on Telegram app, if you haven't already joined, guys, we have almost about 180 people already who've joined, right? A lot of them are having conversations with me as well. And if you're planning on doing that, all you have to do is download the Telegram app, type in this web address, tinyurl.com/Unacademy CAT on your web browser, and you'll be redirected. If you're feeling a little lazy on the fingers, that's all right, I don't want to type this address, then the link would be sent in the chat in some time. You can click on that link and it'll redirect you to that group, right? And if you're planning on searching me, I am one of the admins in the group. My name is Amit Surana there also. The face may not look like that. I've probably had better hair then. Yes. Yeah. So that's me. Great. Now, if you're planning on taking the Unacademy subscription, guys, the Plus subscription, if you haven't already taken it, I've been suggesting this for a very long time now, right? I want you to know how beneficial this is, right? There's too many good things happening here, right? And the benefits, guys, the benefits of this is way beyond, the price. Yes. So all you have to do is, select one of these packs, right? I would suggest a 12-month pack because, it seems like the test dates might get pushed off, right? And even if they do not, then that you can use the same content, the same concepts, the same questions also almost for not only CAT but also any other test that's in the same line. Yes, if you're planning on preparing for any other PSOs, you can go ahead with the same concept, right? If you're planning on preparing for other MBA entrance exams, not just CAT. If you're planning on preparing for ZAT and MAT, SNAP, yes, you can go ahead and do that. If you're planning on preparing for IPMAT, again, you can stick to the same thing. Yes, but when you do it, keep in mind that you have to use the code Surana Live. Yes, this code Surana Live is going to help you get a discount of 10% and is going to let me know that you've joined Plus subscription because of Amit Surana. Yes. All right, so without any further lingering, let's get on to understanding time, speed, and distance. This is my second lecture. And if you haven't already heard, our agenda for today is going to be dealing with effective speed, which is nothing but boats and streams. And we'll be also looking at trains and a few concepts of that. And at the end, we'll be looking at races. Yes. So that is the plan for today. That is my agenda. I hope you guys are super stoked, super excited. Yes. And a few questions I have. Right, Niranjan. Thank you. Thank you, Niranjan. Hi, hello, guys. Hi, Rishikesh. Hi, Prince. Super. अज्जू आज तो यार केबीसी खेल नहीं सकते because one first things first, I'm not as good as host as Amitabh Bachchan is. Yes, I'd probably be that edition of KBC where Shah Rukh Khan came in and then that was a big flop, right? Probably that would be me, right? Not saying I'm Shah Rukh Khan, but then I'm saying how successful the show would be if I were to host it. Yeah, but I've taken your suggestion into consideration. We'll see what we can do and work around it. Yes. Hi Vijay. Hi. Vibhor, no, not really, not for GDPI directly, of course not. But there are multiple courses on that as well, right? Now, if you're planning on preparing for GDPI as well, yes, I'll probably get enough information for you, right? If there are other courses as well along with it, right? Anything we can do about it, yeah. So I'll let you know in tomorrow's session, or if you want, you can also have a conversation with me on Telegram, right? And I'll let you know about that thing. Balram, yes, correct, Balram. You are right. I will not deny I am an aeronautical engineer. So let's begin, guys. Let's begin. What we are beginning with right now is effective speed, ladies and gentlemen, right? So effective speed, you see the word effective, right? That basically means the speed of one moving object will affect the other moving object, right? That's called effective speed. It's a whole different from relative speed, but then is in the same lines. Yes. So let's say that a distance of 100 kilometers is to be covered, right? If a distance of 100 kilometers were to be covered, yes, by this boat, yeah, and if the boat is running in a still water, right, which means the boat is placed in water that does not move, for example a pond or a lake, right, still water, And if the speed of the boat is 30 kilometers an hour, then how long do you think the boat will take to reach from point A to point B? How long do you think, guys? Quick. Yes, the water is not moving. 100 kilometers is what this boat has to cover. Its speed is 30 kilometers an hour. Then how long do you think the boat would take to reach from point A to point B? Quick, guys, this is a very simple number, a number that we've seen yesterday as well. Yeah. How long do you think it would take the boat to reach from here till here? Anyone? Of course, Darshan, right? Of course, 3.33 hours or 3 hours 20 minutes. Yes. So let's say approximately 3 hours. Yes, approximately 3 hours. Okay. Now let's look at another situation where the boat has to move from point A to point B. Yes, boat has to move from point A to point B. But then while moving from point A to point B, it has a separate push. It has an extra push from the water's end. So now the boat is no longer rowing in still water. It's trying to row in a stream or a river. It's very similar to river rafting or just general boating in a river, right? Where the water is not stagnant, it also has current. Yes, and the current would also have its own rate, own speed. Yes. So now if the water and the boat both are moving, the boat speed is the same, 30 kilometers an hour, but the water speed is 20 kilometers an hour, right? And if the boat is moving downstream, by downstream, what do we mean? Boat and the water both are moving in the same direction, or the boat is going towards the flow of the water, right? They're both in the same direction. So if they're in the same direction, what happens? Would it take more time for the boat to reach or less time than this? Yes, would it take more time or less time? Anyone? Yes, of course, right? It would take less time. Why? The time would be decreased here because the boat is pushed by the water also, which means now as an effective speed, as the total speed, it is not only the rate at which the boat covers some distance, but also water helps some extra distance to be covered. And what is that? 20 kilometers per hour. Yes, which means if the time decreases, then what happens? Speed increases, right? Because we know they are inversely proportional. Now how do I increase the speed here? By adding these speeds, right? So the effective speed when there are two moving objects in contact with each other and are moving in the same direction, or if a boat is moving downstream, then what do we call it? How do we define it? We define it by the sum of both their rates, which is nothing but 30 plus 20 kilometers per hour, which is 50 kilometers per hour. Yes, 100 kilometers to be covered at 50 kilometers per hour. That means it would take less than 3 hours. In this case, it would take 2 hours. Yes, so that's called downstream, or that's called going against or going along with the flow of the water. Yes. And in our third situation, the boat again same 100 kilometers is to be covered. Yes, from point A to point B. Yes, the speed of the boat is 30 kilometers an hour. Speed of the water is 20 kilometers an hour. But in this case, what happens? That the boat is trying to cover the distance against the flow of the water. Yes, that means these two things, these two moving objects are in opposite direction to each other. Yeah. So if they're in opposite direction, which means the boat does not only have to cover the distance that is 100 kilometers, right? It also has to cover the distance that the boat is being pushed back by the water, right? So if I see in an hour, right? In an hour, the boat should cover 30 kilometers, but the water would cover 20 kilometers backwards, which means 30 kilometers forward and then 20 back. So technically the boat has covered only 10 kilometers every hour. Yes, or in other terms, the time taken would be greater than both these cases. Yes, so if the time increases, the speed has to drop. And how do I drop speed in this case? By taking the difference. Yes. Now, always remember, guys, always remember there are a lot of exceptions here, right? One of the exceptions is what? That the boat has to be faster than the water. Yes. If the boat speed is slower, if the boat does not cover as much distance as the water covers in an hour, then the boat will never move forward, right? It's like you trying to, run on a treadmill, right? So if you run on a treadmill, do you even, cover any distance? Of course not, right? Technically, you are on the same spot in the same place if your speed and the treadmill speed is the same. Yes. Just like that, if the boats and the water speed is the same, then the boat will not cover any distance. It will simply be running its motor, or people would simply be rowing at the same spot. Yes. And if the speed of the water is greater, if the current is greater than the speed of the boat, then it will only be pushed backwards. Yes, got it. So this would be very much similar to, near a waterfall, if someone's trying to row their boat against the flow, right? That particular scenario. Anyway, so always keep in mind the speed of the boat has to be greater than the speed of the water. Yes. Then in that case, what would happen? The effective speed would be nothing but the difference between them, that is 10 kms, right? 10 kilometers an hour. So 100 kilometers to be covered at 10 kilometers per hour speed. How much time do you think it would take? 10 hours. Yes. This we call it upstream, because by up we mean against. Yes. So upstream means opposite direction, downstream means same direction. Yes. So these are the terminologies that are used in questions like this, right? So this particular concept of effective speed can not only be used for boats and streams, but any other situation where there is one moving object and the other moving object is in contact with it. Yes. For example, if there are two gears moving, right? There are two gears moving. Yes. Then they are in contact with each other. Correct. So the speed of one gear would affect the speed of the other gear if they are connected to each other, or if they are connected to a shaft or whatever. Direct point of contact or indirect point of contact, both would matter here. Yes. Another situation would be elevators, right? Even in elevators that would happen. Yes. Or let's talk about even, conveyor belts, right? Conveyor belts, like I gave an example, treadmill is an example of a conveyor belt, right? So all of those concepts can be used here. Yes. And that's the scene here, right? So that is effective speed, you guys. If there's any question you have, you can go ahead and ask me right now. Otherwise, let's move ahead to an example. What do you guys say? Have you understood this? Yes. No confusions then, guys? Yeah. Everything sorted? Everything clear? Madrista, what do you mean by practice? Practice is something that you will have to do on your own. No, I can't. I can't be sitting throughout your practice session, right? So what I am trying to do is give you as much as information as I can about some concepts. Practice would be on your own, right? You will have to practice. Yes. All right. Super. Great. So if you've understood this, yes, if you've understood this, then let's go ahead with an example. On the screen is an example. The question says the speed of the boat is 15 kilometers per hour in still water. If the speed of the stream is 5 kilometers per hour, then how long does it take for the boat to go 76 kilometers downstream? Yes. Yeah. Can you answer this question real quick? Yes. So a few pieces of information that you always have to focus on. First things first, before going for the numbers, right? Always first look out for any piece of information that would tell us about the direction. Like in this case, they have directly given to us downstream. Sometimes they may not use the term downstream. Instead, they would say along with the flow of the water. Yes. Or they would say that it's moving along with the water, right? Anything. So anything that would suggest, that they're in the same direction, that would be downstream. Anything that would suggest they're in the opposite direction would mean what? Upstream. So downstream means what? Same direction, which means their speeds need to get added. Their speeds in this case are what? 14 and 5 kilometers an hour, all same units, don't have to worry about that. Which means the effective speed of the boat right now, right, is how much? Not 14 anymore, it is 19 kilometers an hour. Yes. So at 19 kilometers an hour, how much distance is to be covered? 76 kilometers, right? So time is what? Distance over speed. Yes. The distance over speed is what? 76 over 19. So if you're fast with this calculation, very nice. If you've used a calculator for this, I'd suggest you don't. Yes. So what you can do here is approximate. If this were 20, then 24 times would have been 80. Yes. Now I'm reducing 1 here and I'm reducing 4 here, which means, they are tallied off. Yeah. So this is what? 4 times. Nothing but 4 hours. Yeah, a very simple question from boats and streams that deal with downstream. Yeah, super, super. So very simple calculations. I'd want you to, focus on the calculations, Ankit as well as Darshan. Yeah, just focus a little bit on the calculations. That's it, right? Okay, so that was a very simple example, something that would help us understand what downstream means. Yes. So here is the scene, right? 76 kilometers to be covered, both boat and water in the same direction. Now there is a specific reason why I always use some kind of an image for most questions, because then it helps you think in practical, right? So you'd be able to think in practical, okay, the water's moving, the boat's moving, then what would happen, right? So you don't have to mug anything up or remember anything up, especially with time, speed and distance. It's always better that you draw some kind of a picture, right? Visual representation always helps. Now here is second example from the same concepts, boats and streams. Yes. Go ahead and answer this. A man can row along the flow of the water at 15 kilometers per hour and the speed of the flow is 2.5 kilometers per hour. How long would it take him to row 75 kilometers in still water? Yes. Aju, I think we are a little too early to celebrate. We will celebrate after we complete a concept. Okay, अगर आपको प्यास लगा, if you are thirsty, then you can go ahead. थोड़ा सा छोटा celebration on the side you can do. If there's anyone who wants to join, Aju, also please go ahead. But when we deal with concepts, right? When we deal with concepts, then what do? We have to keep in mind that complete a concept, then celebrate. Great. So Vibhor, Trikash, Rishikesh, and Aman. Balram says 5 hours, Urvi says 5 hours, Divya says 5 hours, Darshan says 4.28 hours. But confused. Okay, let's look at the question if you're confused, right? A man can row along the flow of the water at 15 kilometers per hour. What do you mean by along the flow? Downstream, right? So we know that the downstream speed is how much? 15 kilometers an hour, right? I always keep in mind that I write the units so that I don't miss out or get confused with the numbers. And the speed of the flow is 2.5 kilometers per hour. Speed of the flow means what? Speed of the water, right? Speed of the water is what? 2.5 kilometers an hour. Yes. Now what does the question ask? The question asks how long would it take him to row 75 kilometers in still water, right? Now please understand, guys, this is not the speed of the boat. Yes, this is the downstream speed, which means this is nothing but what? Speed of the boat plus speed of the water. Yes, and what would this be? Speed of the water, right? You get it? So if you were to find out the speed of the boat, what would you have to do? You would have to remove the speed of the water from it, right? So if I subtract these two, what would I get? I would get speed of the boat, which would be how much? 12.5 kilometers an hour. Do you understand? Do you agree? Yes. Now why do we need speed of the boat? Because the question is asking what? Row 75 kilometers in still water, which means the water should not be moving. Basically means the speed of the water does not matter to us anymore, right? So what would be the time to cover 75 kilometers at a rate of 12.5 kilometers an hour? Yes. Again, if you have issues calculating, all you have to do is what? Convert these numbers into something that's doable. For example, 12.5 twice is 25, right? We know 12.5 twice is 25. Yes. And 25 thrice is 75, which means this would be what? 2 into 3, 6 times. So 6 hours is my answer. Yes. So anyone who said the answer is 5 hours, 4.28, yes, you'll have to check on that, right? There's nothing confusing with this question, just direct upfront information given to us. All we have to do is what? Consider the given information the way it is. Got it? Yeah. So whenever you see a question, don't just focus on the numbers, but also focus on the words that they're using. Cool? I think this was a very decent example, right? An example that a lot of us can directly understand, right? No need to dwell too long on that question. Exactly, Balram. Same pitch, buddy. Same pitch, right? Let's go on to the next example then, right? Another example from effective speed here on your screen. Yes. Very simple example. The reason why we are giving simple examples is to keep in mind that effective speed gets registered in your mind. Yes, and then when we use this for actual CAT questions, it'd be very simple for us to bring a reference. Yeah, great. So let's see who can answer this first, right? Very simple question, just that you'll have to answer this real quick. Yes. The question has given the speed of the boat, not directly, but they've given the time taken to cover some distance, onwards and return. Great. The question is asking for the ratio of the speed of the boat and speed of the water. Great. What do you mean by clear this question? Do you mean this question was clear? Okay, Niranjan, great. Superb. Anyone who can answer this? Come on, guys. Anyone who can answer this? Real quick. Very simple question. Very simple question. Does not involve any complex calculations either. Yes, just that you have to be quick on the fingers when you calculate. Anyone? Yes. The time is given. The time is given for onward journey. Yes. The distance is given. The time is given for return journey as well. What is the answer? Right, Redox says it's 5:11, 3 times. Should it mean 15:33 then? Which is still the same, 5:11, yeah. Anuj, Niranjan, great. Redox again, great. Aman, superb. You'll have to check. You'll have to check with the answer though, Aman. Aditi, superb. Hey, Redox man, come on, I understood. I got it. I got it that you answered first. Yes. You don't have to rub it in my face. Okay. Aju's got the answer. Trikash has the answer as well. Balram answer check kariye. Your answer is not right. Yes. Okay. So what do we know here? That the speedboat takes 8 hours 48 minutes to cover 44 kilometers. Yes. And takes 4 hours to return. Yeah. So I know there's something return, right? Which means initially if let's say these are the 2 points, right, A, B, that are to be covered, right, which is nothing but 44 kilometers, right? These 44 kilometers are to be covered for once, right? For once, yeah, onward journey it takes 8 hours 48 minutes. Can you guys quickly tell me what is 48 minutes in terms of decimals? Yes, in terms of decimals, how much would it be? 48 minutes. Yes, I'll tell you how to calculate. You have to convert minutes to hours. Yes, which means you'll have to divide it by 60. First divide it by 6 and check how much is it, and then add the decimal point, right? 48 by 6 would be how much? 8. Yes. So if I add the decimal point, what would I get? 0.8. Yeah, so 8.8 hours. Or you can use percentage also. You can use percentage also from 60. If I remove 12, I get 48, right? What is 12 on 60? How much is 12 on 60? 20 percentage, right? So this would be what? 80 percentage, which is how much? 80 percentage is what? 0.8. Got it? Yeah. So 8.8 hours for onward journey and return, right? The return journey is what? 4 hours long. Yeah. This basically means one of these journeys were upwards, the other were downwards, right? That basically means what? One is downstream, the other is upstream. Which one should be downstream? It's very obvious. Whichever took the less time was downstream, right? So what do I know? I know that the downstream speed is how much? 44 kilometers in 4 hours, which means 11 kilometers an hour. Yes. And how about the upstream time, guys? Upstream speed? Since it takes longer, right? 8.8 hours. 44 by 8.8 is how much? Right, 5 kilometers. Yes, 5 kilometers an hour. Yeah. Now, what does the question ask? What does the question ask? The question asks what is the speed, not of downstream and upstream, but the speed of the boat and the speed of the water, right? Now, how do I calculate speed of the boat and the speed of the water? Here, in this case, in downstream, it's nothing but speed of the boat plus speed of the water, and upstream is what? Speed of the boat minus speed of the water, right? Now, in this case, what you have to do, you'll have to solve this equation. The fastest way to do it would be using this, right? If you want the speed of the boat, all you have to do is what? Add these two and subtract, divide by 2. Yes. Add the upstream and the downstream speeds and subtract by 2. Yes. So if I do that, what would happen? If I add it, it would be 16. 16 by 2 is how much? 8. So what's the speed of the boat? 8. Yes. And they're asking for the speed of the water also. I know one of them is 11, right? The sum is 11 and one of them is 8, which means the other has to be 3. Or in other terms, if you want the speed of the water, all you'll have to do is what? Subtract these two speeds, upstream and downstream, subtract them and divide by 2. So 11 minus 5 is 6. 6 by 2 is what? 3. Yes. So what is the ratio, guys? The ratio is not 11 is to 5 or 5 is to 11. Yes, you'll have to be very, very careful here, guys, as to what the question is asking. Yes, speed of the boat and speed of the water. Yeah. So everyone who said 5 is to 11 initially, right? All wrong. Yeah. The one guy who actually answered right was Balram. Yes. And now everyone else, right? Aman, Vibhor, Aju, yes. Yeah. Okay, so what's the ratio then? Speed of the boat and speed of the water, 8 by 3 or 8 is to 3. Cool. Yes, any confusions? Yeah, so what I've done here, right? Done here is instead of dealing with equations directly, which basically is the same thing. So if I add these two, what would happen? Speed of the water would get cancelled out, right? So it'll be 2 times speed of boat would give us 16. 1 times speed of boat would be 8. So instead of keeping it as equations and then dealing with them directly, I do it mentally, right? Just add these two numbers and divide by 2. So whenever there are sum of two numbers, so this is not only useful for, questions from, boats and streams, but any question, right? Let's say even in time, speed, distance, if you're talking about relative speed, right? We know opposite direction, it's some, same direction, it's difference, right? So again, I can use the same concept. If I want the speed of the faster, right? This would be the faster body. This would be the slower body, correct? So if I want the speed of the faster body, all I have to do is what? Add the speeds, divide by 2. If I want the slower body, subtract the speeds, divide by 2, right? This is not an equation. This is not a formula or something. This is just a mental calculation that you can use. Cool. Yes, so the answer is 8 is to 3, guys, not 5 is to 11 or 11 is to 5. Please keep that in mind. Do not come up with the answer that you've got and come up with the answer that the question has asked. Yes, always make a note of what the question is expecting. Cool. Great. Yeah, Balram. Exactly. Balram, I'll have to agree with the crowd, no? Otherwise they'll beat me up. Yes. Yeah, it's a part. It's if there were answer choices, right? If at all there were answer choices, then 5 is to 11 or 11 is to 5 would surely be one of the answer choices because it's clearly the trap. Yeah. Great. Okay. Chalo then, next concept, right? Now, before we move on to the next concept, right? A quick celebration on our end. Yes. Is there anybody who hasn't understood this or any concepts from effective speed? If you have understood, guys, then this calls out for a quick celebration, right? We've completed one concept successfully, right? So this is to us, to effective speed, and to Balram because bhai mera thoda affect ho gaya, right? So this one's for you, Balram. Great. Chaya, the timing of the class is 6:30 p.m. to 8 p.m. Rupali, good evening. Hi, if you've joined us now. Superb. बलराम, टी तो चलेगी, टी के अलावा भी बहुत कुछ चलेगा, बट अब जो है उसको रख के एडजस्ट करेंगे. Right, the idea here as a part of celebration is to help your body also get better, right? So staying at home, sitting, lying on the bed all day, working, or just chilling, we forget that our body needs the attention that we used to give it back then, right? So yeah, superb, great. चलिए फिर let's do a quick recap on what relative speed is and what effective speed is, right? In case of relative speed, yeah, what is relative speed? When two moving objects are not in contact with each other directly or indirectly, which means the speed of one moving object will not directly affect the speed of the other moving object, but then it will affect the entire journey speed or the average speed of the entire journey, right? So in that case, if the directions are same in relative speed, yes, one moving object like this, another moving object like this, they're following each other, they're chasing each other. If they are in the same direction, then what happens? Difference in their speeds. Yes, larger speed minus the smaller speed. Yes, this is what we have to keep in mind. And if they're moving in the opposite direction, let's say this way, yes, or in case of a circular path, yes, even this way would be opposite direction, right? Provided they're moving around a circle, or assuming they are not flat earthers, right? In that case, what would happen? The speed, the relative speed would be what? The sum of their speeds. Yes, the faster moving object and the slower moving object. Yes. In case of effective speed, which we just saw, right? In case of effective speed that we just saw, if one moving object is in direct contact with another moving object, yes, or indirectly also, if one moving object speed would affect the other moving object speed, then we call it effective speed. The word effect itself is in it, yes, which means one speed will affect the other speed, right? So in that case, if they are in the same direction, yes, which means along with the flow, then what happens is the sum of the two speeds, yes. And if they're in the opposite direction, yes, one moving object like this and the other in the opposite end, then in that case, what would happen? It would be the difference of their speeds, provided the bigger speed, the larger speed is taken as A. Yes. So the larger speed minus the smaller speed, right? That would be the case. So this was a quick recap on relative speed, because we would be using relative speed in today's concept, the concept that we are going to deal with now. Yes. And this was effective speed that we've already dealt with. Do you have any questions, any confusions with any of these? Now would be the time for you to open up and ask. Yes. Harshit, yeah, Harshit, all you have to do is, make sure you have some material that will help you do the practice, right? So you'll have to buy some book. Yes, if you have some already, very good. If you can buy a paperback, even better. But right now, the best option would be for you to buy an ebook, right? Use Kindle, use any other source to buy an ebook. Yes, you can buy Arun Sharma's Quantitative Aptitude book for CAT, or you can go for Sarvesh Verma's Quantitative Aptitude Quantum. Yes, so that would help you. Got it? Great. So I think that should be enough. And if you're still looking for more practice, if you're looking for more mock test and anything more, then you know what you have to join. You know what I will suggest right now, right? Join the Plus subscription, right? Take up the Plus subscription and then you'd be able to get it, right? Super. Okay, this recap I cap in my mind. Okay, Aju. Okay, great. Effective way to remember it, sir. Superb, Girish. Great. अनुज 5 कैसे आया? कहाँ पे आया 5? कहाँ पे है भाई 5? Where 5? Aditi, what you'll have to keep in mind, Aditi, is the situation given in the question, right? If the situation, so any question from CAT will be, always practical, especially from a concept like time, speed, and distance, right? So if they're talking about both streams, if they're talking about elevators, escalators, if they're talking about conveyor belts of any form, yes, then you know these are effective speed. Yes, which means there's some contact. Yeah. If there are questions about two moving objects, any two moving objects on a road, on a rail, in water, anything, yes, but then their speeds are not affected by each other, then it is relative speed. Two cars moving, two bikes moving, two trains moving, all of that. Yes, I hope that would help you. Yes. It's not confusing at all, Girish. This is not confusing at all. Yes. Chaya, if you want effective speed, all you have to do is rewind a little bit. It's in the same session, right? Just rewind a little bit. Yes, if they're moving in the same direction, then it's the sum of these two. And if they're moving in the opposite direction, it's the difference of these two, right? Yeah. Okay. All right, then let's move ahead. Yes. All right, so let's begin with our next concept, right? Our next concept is trains, guys. Yes, trains, another frequently tested concept from time, speed, and distance. Yes, the only difference here, or the only impact that the question has some other moving object apart from a train, right, is that its length does not matter. Yeah, but in case of a train, since a train is a long moving object, yes, and it's not a point, or it's not like a car or a bike or a person walking whose width is not very comparable to the distance that is covered. In most cases, if the question, demands, or if the question the question talks about the length of the train, then we'll have to consider that also as a distance that is covered. Yes. So there are four instances with trains, right? First instance would be a train trying to reach a point. Yes. So when I say a train is trying to reach a point, let's say this is the starting point of the train. Yes. And it's trying to reach this point. Yes. Here is the engine of the train, right? So if this is the engine, yes. When do I know that the train has reached a point? Yes, so if I want to say that the point B has to be reached by this train, yes, the position of the engine, right? The position of the engine should be aligned with point B. Yes, got it, right? If the position of the engine is aligned with point B, do you see how, right? The position is aligned with point B. This is called reaching a point. Yes. So if the question talks about a train reaching a point, then the distance that the train has covered would be what? This distance, D. Do you get it, right? The length has no impact here. Yes, only this distance D is covered by it. Clear? Yeah. Okay, ticket book नहीं हो रही, अभी कहाँ जाना है तुम्हें? Where do you have to go, Aju? Stay where you are. If you want to book a ticket and cancel just for the sake of it, के IRCTC को, it's been a long time I've visited IRCTC, तो ऐसे थोड़ा time pass कर लूँ, then you can, right? Okay. Yeah, so this would be called reaching a point, where the distance covered by the train is nothing but the distance between the 2 points. That's it, right? And the second scenario, we have a situation where the question is talking about crossing a point. Yes, when a moving object crosses a point. Yeah. So if from A to B, it does not only travel from A to B, but it also has to cross, which means not the engine, but the last part of the last bogie, right, of the last coach should be aligned with point B. Yes, the last coach of the train should be aligned with point B. That's called crossing the train. Yes, or crossing the point. So this particular scenario, right? This particular scenario would mean what? That the train has crossed this point. So when I say cross, it means not just the engine, not just the first few bogies, but the entire train, right? The entire coach, all the coaches must cross it. That's called crossing a point, right? So if at all a question uses this part cross, it means the distance covered by the train is not only the distance D, but also its own length. Correct, Balram? Yes. Yeah. So this distance is covered. Yes, this distance is covered by the engine first. And then the engine covers what? This distance, which is nothing but its own length. Yes, so the length of the train comes into picture every time we talk about crossing. Yes, So what do you know when a question talks about crossing a point? You have to be very careful. The distance between the 2 points and also the length of the train would come into the picture. The third scene is where one train meets another train. Yes. Now we know two trains cannot meet each other on the same track unless they are in India, because here it happens quite frequently, right? Train derailing and train crashes and all happen very frequently, right? Anyway, so if one train wants to meet another train, which basically means that both their engines must be aligned, right? Both their engines must be aligned in somewhere in between these 2 points. Yes. So here it would mean what? Somewhere at this point. So the distance covered by both these trains. So here what would come into picture is relative speed. Yes. Speed of the first train and the second train both would come into picture. Yes. But the distance covered by both these trains would be what? Just d. Yes. Nothing more than that. Their lengths would not matter here anymore, because all we want is their engines to be aligned. Yes. So the distance covered by this train would be what? D. Got it? Yes. But in the second scenario, in the last scenario here, when we talk about a train crossing another train, right? If a train was to cross another train, whether in the same direction or in opposite direction, right? It does not only have to cover this distance. Yes, it does not only have to cover the distance between the two engines, but also it has to cover the distance covered by each of these trains to cross them. That means this particular point of first train and this particular point of the second train must be aligned. Yes, so it should go not only cover this distance but also cover the length of this train and the length of this train. Do you see how? Yes. So like this. So first the trains would cover this d, then one of these trains would cover the other train's length and the other train's length. Yes. So both these trains' length will come into picture, which means the total distance covered by the train would be what? The distance between them plus their lengths. Clear? So this is something that you will require in order to answer the questions. Do not mug anything up. These are just different scenarios. I want you to visualize these scenarios when it's asked in the question. Yes. So if a train is trying to chase another train, just think. Yes, if two trains chasing each other needs to cross each other, yes, then what would happen? Yes, so if they are aligned already, then it's okay. Yeah, if they have some distance between them, which means this train is chasing this train, right? So first it will have to cover this distance, and then it will have to cover this length and its own length. Yes, clear? Correct, Aman. Exactly, Aman. Yes, got it. Yes, any questions, any confusions here, guys? Anyone? Is there any part of this that you're not able to understand? Yeah, that's pretty direct here. Yes. So if there is a point, yes, if there is a point that the train has to reach, then the distance is all that matters. If it has to cross, then the length would also matter. And if there are more than one trains, then their lengths would also come into picture if they are crossing. But if they only have to meet, then in that case, just the distance between them, the lengths won't matter. Cool? So I think this was clear. Is there anyone who's got any questions, any confusions with regards to this? Urvi, of course. Yes, whether they cross each other or meet each other, that's a separate scenario, right? What's the primary scenario here? There are two moving objects whose speed do not affect each other. So it's not effective speed, it is relative speed. Yes. Aditi, of course it is easy. Of course it is easy because you are able to visualize this, right? So please keep in mind, guys, most questions, if you can visualize, it'll become very, very simple for you to understand the main point behind it. Yes. Superb. So I hope, Urvi, your question is answered. Yes. If that's the case, then let's move ahead with an example. On the screen for you guys is an example. A train crosses a signal in 9 seconds. If it travels at the speed of 60 kilometers an hour, then what is its length? Anuj, the fourth point is simple. They have to cross each other. So if they have to cross each other, then in that case, the distance between them and their lengths will also be added. It's like this. Yes. So first the distance between them, then this train will cover its length, then this train will cover its length. Yes. So total distance would be what? This D and both these lengths. Got it? Of course, Aman, that's what I'm saying. Any which ways, unless you're talking about one train that is moving upon another train, or one train that is being pulled by another train, even in that case, effective speed won't come into picture. But yeah, it can. Yeah. So if you're talking about one train being pulled by another train, or one train upon another train, or some other moving object on a train, let's say Shah Rukh Khan on the train, chal chaya chaya and running throughout it, then we can consider effective speed. Otherwise, in trains, we always consider relative speed. Yes, great, super. I'm so glad everyone said 150 meters and not 540 kilometers or 540 meters. Yes, so glad that you went not just for the numbers but also the units. Yes, the time is in seconds, the speed is in kilometers an hour. So you'll have to convert one of these. Yes, though there are no answer choices here, right? If the question says in meter, then you'll have to convert this into meter per second. If it says in kilometer, then you would probably have to convert this into hours. Yes. So here, what would be its length? Its length is nothing but the distance that it has covered, right? So here, do you see crosses? Yes, crosses a signal. Signal is a point. Signal is a point. Yes, the train has to cross it. If this is the train, right? If this is the train has to be not here but here. Yes. So although here the distance between the signal and the train is not given, so we can ignore that. All we have to care about is what? The length of the train. Yes. So the distance is nothing but the length of the train, which is speed into time. Speed here is 60 kilometers per hour, which we can convert easily into meter per second by doing what? By multiplying with 5 by 18. So this is in meter per second, and the time given to us is in seconds here. So what happens? This is twice. This is 30 times. So 30 times 5 is how much? 150 meters. Yes. Great, superb. So very simple example for us to understand that the distance means the length as well. Yes. So if you've understood this, then go ahead, look at this question. This question is MCQ, which means this has answer choices as well. Yes, answer choices in this question as well. Yeah. All of you are doing extremely well, extremely well. If you have any question, please feel free to ask. Yes, do not hesitate. There should not be any reluctance when you are asking for a question. Go ahead. Yes. So here there's a question. Yes, there's a practical scenario here. A cyclist rides at 5 kilometers an hour in the same direction as a train that crosses the cyclist in 10 seconds. If the length of the train is 1/8 of a kilometer, then what is the speed of the train? Yes. So what is asked by the question is speed of the train. Yes. So we need to find the speed of the train. For us to find out the speed of the train, what would we require? We would require the distance and we would require the time. Yes. Distance is given to us, time is given to us, but then it's not directly that. Why? Because the other point, yes, the other point here is that the other point is not like a stationary object, right? It's not like signal in the previous question. It's a moving object. Yes, so what is happening here? There is a train, yes, and there is a guy on a cycle. Yes, I don't know, this looks like scooter, but then yeah, cycle. Yeah. Now what happens here? They're moving in the same direction, right? They're moving in the same direction. The length of the train is 1/8 a kilometer. Quickly convert this into meters. How much would it be? Because yeah, I think it'd be better if we convert this into meters. Yes, it'll be easy for us to convert the speed later in kilometers per hour. Yes. So this would be what? 1/8. So 100 by 8 I know from percentages, right? 100 by 8 I know is 0. Sorry. is 12.5 percentage. Yes, so 100 by 8 is 12.5. So in terms of kilometers would be what? 1000 by 8, that is what? 125 meters. So the length of the train is given to us as 125 meters. Yes, 5 kilometers per hour. So this train moves at 5. This train moves at, I mean, this object moves at some distance, some speed we do not know, right? So what do? We know that the effective speed here, right? Sorry, the relative speed here, not effective speed, guys. This is relative speed. Two moving objects, no contact. Yes, so the relative speed here, since they are moving in the same direction, would be what? Yes, this would be what? The difference between their speeds, right? Speed of the train minus the speed of the cycle. Yes, but what is speed in normal? It is distance over time. Yes, what is the distance here, guys? 125 meters. And what is the time? 10 seconds. Yes, so this is how much? 12.5 meters per second, which you can quickly convert into kilometers per hour by doing what? By multiplying 18 by 5. Yes, so the speed, the relative speed is how much? 12.5 into 18 by 5. Yes. Yeah, so now you can cancel this out, right? You can cancel this out, which we would get what? Once, and this would be 2.5 times. Yes, 2.5 into 18 is what? 18 twice is 36. 36 plus 9 is 45. Yes, so the relative speed is 45 kilometers per hour. Yes, which is nothing but what? Speed of train minus 5 kilometers per hour. So the speed of train becomes what? 45 plus 5, which is 50 kilometers an hour. Yeah. Now, if you want, you can also, so instead of doing this, you can also quickly assign the answer choices and check, right? If anything that would help you, reduce 1 or 2 steps, go ahead with that. Yeah. You want me to repeat this, Divya? Okay, it's very simple. See, relative speed is nothing but what? Since they're moving in the same direction, right? Relative speed, same direction is what? Difference between these two speeds, distance of the train, speed of the train and speed of the cycle, right? But I know that relative speed or speed would be what? Distance over time, right? So what is the distance that it's trying to cover? 1/8 of a kilometer, which is nothing but 125 meters. Yes, and time is what? 10 seconds. So 125 meters covered in 10 seconds is nothing but 12.5 meters per second. Yes, so I'm converting this meter per second into kilometers per hour because the question demands so. Yes, so if I convert this into kilometers per hour, what would happen? I'd have to multiply it with 18 by 5 because 1 meter per second is 18 by 5 kilometers per hour, right? So then I cancel it. I get that the relative speed is 45 kilometers per hour. Relative speed is nothing but what? Difference between the speeds. Speed of train minus 5 kilometers per hour. It's given that the speed of the cycle is what? 5 kilometers per hour. I take the 5 the other side, I get 50 kilometers per hour being the speed of the train. Yes. So this was a very simple question compared to, the level at CAT. Yes, this was not even level 1 if we compare it to that. Yes. But then again, from the previous questions that we've dealt with, right, we can consider this as a level 2. Yeah. Super, great. Great, guys. So the answer is what? 50 kilometers an hour. Yes. So all your answers, everyone who said 50 is the answer is right. Yes. Great. How about another example then, right? Let's look at another example from trains. Yes. Here is another one. Yeah. Take your time, understand this question, right? The question is very simple to deal with. Very simple to deal with, right? Go ahead, look at the question and give me an answer. Anuj, 50 किसका आंसर है? इसका आंसर of this question or of the previous question? So this question says two trains that start from station A travel at 46 and 36. Yes, the station A Okay, I'm going to give you some time to do it first, right? Do it first. Let me know what the answer you're getting, and then we will answer this question. Anyone with the answer? Anyone? None? I'm waiting for you to answer. This is a very simple question, guys. Gurnoor Singh, hi, Gurnoor. I think we've not met. Is this your first time you're responding here? Okay, Redox 460 meters कहाँ है भाई? This is not even there in the answer choices, Redox. Please check. 460 meters, Redox. एक बार बोलते तो भी मैं माफ कर देता. This you are doing too much. गलत है आंसर. 460 meters is wrong. It's not there in the answer choices. 72 is incorrect. 82 is incorrect. Vibor, please check. Anuj, please check. Rishikesh, your answer is right. 50 kilometers, or sorry, 50 meters is the right answer. Yes. Okay, guys, 72, 82, 80 are incorrect. These are incorrect answers. Let's look at this question. What does it say? It says that two trains that start from station A travel at 46 kilometers per hour and 36 kilometers per hour. So both of these trains start from the same point. Yes. Let's say this is A, 46 kilometers per hour. This is train B or second train, that is 36 kilometers per hour. Yes. What does the question say? The question says that the first train passes the second train in 36 seconds. Yes. Basically means that they would have had some difference in the time, right? They wouldn't have started at the same time or whatever, right? Right. All right. Okay. I lost the cursor somewhere. Yeah. Anyway, right. So here's the case, right? So 46 kilometers, 36 kilometers an hour towards station B, which means they're moving in the same direction. Yes. So whenever we know that they are moving in the same direction, all you have to do is what? The relative speed would be what? The difference between them. Please keep in mind, guys, they're moving in the same direction. One train is chasing the other train. So the difference would be what? 46 minus 36, which is going to be 10 kilometers an hour. Yes, 10 kilometers an hour. Now I'll have to convert this into meters per seconds. Why? Because my question demands so, right? What does the question say? The question says that we have to find the length of each of these trains, right? So how do you convert kilometer per hour into meter per second? By multiplying by 5 by 18. Yes. So this is how much? 15 by 18. Yes, 150, my bad. So 50, yes, 50 by 18 meter per second is my speed. Yes. Now this speed has to be compared with the time. Why? Because we need the length, right? Length is nothing but what? The distance. In this case, guys, in this case, what is the situation? This is a situation that means that both these trains are crossing each other, correct? What does it say? The first train passes the second train, right? Here is the key. Passes the second train, which means both their lengths would also be considered, right? So L1 plus L2 In this case, we know L1 and L2 are the same. Why? Because lengths are equal. Yes, which is how much? Speed into time. Speed is 50 by 18. Time is 36 seconds. Yes, everything has worked out just fine. So we know that the length of both trains combined, or 2 times length, is 100. That means the length of one of these trains would be how much? 50 meters. Yes. Very simple question. Very simple question. I don't know why a lot of wrong answers for this question. Yes. One particular reason could be that you've considered the sum of their speeds and not the difference of their speeds. Yes, you have to consider relative speed when they are moving in the same direction as the difference. Yes, ye register kar lo guys. You just have to look at it, guys. Look, they're moving in the same direction, which means it's going to take them long time to meet each other. Yes, which means the speed has to decrease. Got it? Okay. 50 meters आ गया तब तो बहुत अच्छी बात है, पहले नहीं आया था. Correct, Vibhor. Yeah. So, see, you don't have to panic. Do not panic when you see some questions, right? Always keep in mind that you're taking down the exact information. And when you do that, right? When you take down the information, keep in mind that you use some kind of a tool. So the tool that I use is a visual representation, right? A visual representation would help me understand the situation without looking at the question over and over again. Yes, so I'm going to avoid looking at the question for more than once. So I need a visual representation of the entire question. Got it? Yeah, this happens when you are in a hurry, right? So if you are in a hurry, this usually happens. Yes. All right, guys, so we've completed one more concept, right? We've completed boats and streams, that is effective speed, and we've completed trains as well, which means this calls out for two things. Thing number one is, if you've understood everything that happened in effective speed and trains, go ahead, hit like to this video. If you're excited about the next concept that we have, do not forget to hit like. If you've already hit like, then probably comment on it or something. I don't know. I have to give you some task, right? The second thing that we have to do after completing a concept is a quick celebration. So let's do it, guys. Let's do it for trains. Let's do it for CAT 2020. Let's just hope that CAT 2020 is a little bit merciful on us, and we'll be able to crack it. Yes. So cheers to you guys. बलराम not over. बलराम एक और concept है. There's one more concept. One more concept. Yes, very simple concept. Very simple concept. But एक और है. Yeah. Super. Correct. Correct, Aju. Yes. Great. Chalo, so now what we've done is we've made our minds happy. Yes, our brains are happy that it has learned a lot of new things, and our body is happy that we're keeping it hydrated every now and then, right? So win-win situation. Yes. Now let's go ahead with the next concept that we have, guys. The next concept is races. Yes. Do not worry, we are not talking about different ethnicities or different races as such, right? This is a race wherein there's a race between two humans running, two animals running, two objects running, probably cars, bikes, bullock carts, I don't know, anything, any kind of races, right? So this is what we're talking about now. Here again, a few scenarios, a few situations, a few terminologies that the question uses in terms of races, right? So when they talk about a race, yes, what matters to us is the length of the race in most cases. Yes, that is nothing but the length of the race track, or the length of the swimming pool if it's a swimming race, or any kind of race, right? Length of the road track or whatever. Yes. Yes, so here what do you have? Races, right? So there are different scenarios here. Yes, let's talk about different scenarios or different terminologies used in the case. Yes, the first thing is beat. What do you mean by one person beat another person, or one car beat another car, or one animal beat another animal, right? So when I say A beat by B, it basically means that A has already won. Yes, you'll have to keep that in mind. Yes, guys, you'll have to keep that in mind that this guy is already the winner. Only then we can say A has beat B. Do you get it? By beat, what do we mean? Defeated. Yes, which means A has to be the winner. Got it? That basically means A has completed the race. Yes, A is at the finish line. Only then we say the word beat. Got it? Yes. So A beats B by 10 meters. This basically means what? That both of them start at the same point. Yes, they start at the same point in time also. But then A, right? A and B, the difference in the distance that they've covered would be what? 10 meters. So this point and this point is what? 10 meters. Got it? So when I say one person has beat another person by some distance, it basically means that this guy, the one who is beat, has already reached the finish line. Yes. So in this case, if I were to say this were a 100-meter race, then in that case, A had already reached 100 meters, but B has reached what? 10 meters less, which means 90 meters. Got it? Are you able to understand this, guys? Yes. So A beat B by 10 meters means A is already a winner. A has reached the finish line. A has covered all 100 meters, but B is 10 meters behind A at the finish line. Yes, this does not mean that A and B always had a difference of 10 meters, right? This is a gradually increasing number. Yes, but the ratio would always be the same unless they are at the starting line where it will be 0, 0 then. Yes. Clear? Yes. Now let's look at the second scenario. The second scenario is also talking about beating. So A beat B by 10 seconds now, which means in terms of time. Yes. Same thing. A has already reached the finish line. B has not yet reached the finish line. And the difference between their times is 10 seconds, which means if I say A takes 100 seconds to reach the finish line, yes, B would take 10 extra seconds. Yes, so B would take 110 seconds to reach. Am I making this clear? Yes, this is the time. Yes, time. So if A takes 100 seconds to reach the finish line, B will take 10 extra seconds. So how much has A beaten B by in terms of time? 10 seconds. Clear? Yes. I hope that helps you understand what beat means, right? Now, between two people, when they have a race, when they start at the same time, or different times, different spots, whatever, but if they reach the finish line at the same time, yes, if they reach the finish line at the same time, in that case, we call it as dead heat. Yes, by dead heat means what? There's hardly any difference in the time or hardly any difference in the distance, which means both have crossed the finish line at the same time. Clear? Yes. So an example would be what? A and B both crossing the finish line at the same time. Yes. Clear? And then we would have what? A gives B a head start of 10 meters, right? What do you mean by head start? By head start, A thinks that he is too fast, so A is going to give B some time to go ahead first. Yes, in this case, what A is doing is A wants to cover the entire race course, but B wants to cover 10 meters less. So the difference between these 2 points, their starting points would be what? 10 meters. Do you get it? But this 10 meters may not be the same throughout. Yes, if A is faster than B, and if he is able to cover up this 10-meter loss also, then A will reach first. Yes, or whatever be the outcome is irrespective here. But what do we know? In this case, A would cover the entire length of the race course, that is 100 meters. But B will cover 10 meters less because he's giving a head start. He's like, chal ja, tu aage ja, fir main aayi. Yes, tu chal main aayi, in this case 10 meters gap, which means B would cover only 90 meters of the racetrack. Yes, so do you see how these two situations are very similar? Yes, very similar. Just that here A has already given a head start 10 meters ahead. Yes. Clear. And in terms of head start, we also have a situation where the head start is in terms of time. Yes. So A and B both start at the same spot. Yes, A and B both start at the same spot. Yes, but then A gives a head start of 10 seconds, which means B is allowed to go first. After 10 seconds, A will go. Yes, B goes first. After 10 seconds, A will go. Yes, so this would be the scenario. First, B would start, and after 10 seconds, A would start. Do you understand this? So I want you to picturize this, visualize this when a situation in a question talks about head start. Yes, so what's happening? B starts first, and after 10 seconds, A continues. Got it? Any confusions here, guys? Any confusions? Yes, races is very simple provided you understand these terminologies. Yes, right. Hindi, Shivendra, yes, Shivendra, we will take a session every day. Every day, I will teach you something. Every day, you will learn something new. Yes. Ajju, correct. Kacha chawal. Yes. ठीक है. Have you understood this concept, guys? Girish, last one again, it's very simple. Head start of 10 seconds means what? So if the starting point of B is 0, yes, he starts at 0 seconds. A will start the race at 10 seconds. Yes, whenever they finish, whatever X seconds they finish or Y seconds they finish, we don't care about that in this situation. What we care about is the starting point. So A will immediately start on the hear of the gunshot, but A will is the other way around. This is for B, this is for A, right? So B will immediately start at the sound of the gunshot, but A will wait for 10 seconds for B to cover some distance and then he will start. Clear? Yes. A redox, little too early, man. Little too early for celebration. We still have examples, no? Clear? Any questions? Any confusions, guys? You guys have not asked any question yet. Any doubts? Anything? If not, then let's move on to the examples. Yes. Do you guys want to see some examples? Yeah. Okay. So let's go. Let's go for the examples. Yes. Here. On the screen is a question for you. In a 100-meter race, if A beat B by 20 meters or 10 seconds, then what is B's speed? Yes. Few things that you'll have to keep in mind here is A beat B. Yeah. So go ahead, answer this question. Aditi, then it will not be called, head start. Yes, that will not be called head start. That will basically be called rabbit and the tortoise wala story, right? That A is giving some time for B, is taking rest. So whenever they talk about taking rest or taking a break, it means that. Yes. Right, Vibhor, with circular track, the concepts are very simple. Yes. The same, relative speed again there. Yes. Provided we'll have to talk about their coincidences, them meeting or something, then in that case, LCMs would also come into picture. So we'll use that concept when we'll, have a look at a question. Yes. Right. Superb, guys. Superb. So what's happening? A beat B by 20 meters. Yes. So look at the scenario here, right? This is the racetrack. Yes, we do not know. Okay, we do know that it's a 100-meter racetrack, right? The racetrack is 100 meters. Yes. A beats B, which basically means A is already at the finish line. B is somewhere here. Yes. The distance between these two guys is what? 20 meters. Yes. And they're saying what? That A beats B by 10 seconds, which means if A took X seconds, then B would take X plus 10 seconds. Yes. So can I say to cover this 20 meters, to cover this gap between them, B took 10 seconds. So what is speed? Speed is distance over time. Distance here is 20 meters. Time here is 10 seconds. So the speed is what? 20 meters every second. Clear? Sorry, it's not 2. 20, it's 2. Yes, zeros gets cancelled out. So 2 meters every second is the speed. Yes, so that's the relation between beating someone by some distance and by some time. Yes, that was the aim here. Got it? Yes. Okay, another example then. Yes, second example here. A can beat B by 10 meters and C by 20 meters. By how much did B beat C? Very simple question, very simple question. Quickly answer, let's see. Yes. A can beat B by 10 meters and C by 20 meters. What is the distance by which B beat C? Anyone for this question? Anyone? 10 meters, right, Gurnur? Yeah. Such a silly question, sir. 10 meters. Anna. Why? Because A covers some distance, say X. B would have covered 10 meters less, X minus 10. C would have covered 20 meters less than A, that is X minus 20. Correct? This is A, this is B, this is C. But is that how ratios work? Is that how ratios work though? Yes. What did I say? What did I say? A can beat B, which means when I say beat, when I use the word beat, what did I say? This person is already a winner. Yes, which means he is already at the finish line. Yes. So if I assume that A has covered 100 meters, yes, then when A covers 100 meters, B would have covered 90 meters. C would have covered 20 meters, correct? But now what's the question asking? The question is not asking when A finishes, how far are B and C? No, they're asking what? By how much did B beat C? Yes, how much did B beat C? Which means B now has to be at 100. Do you understand? B has to be at 100. Yes. Vibhor, why can't you say? Of course you can say the ratio of their distance is here, which means you can obviously consider their speeds. Yes. Yeah. So if B covers 100 meters now, it basically means what? I have to convert 90 to 100, for which all I have to do is what? Divide by 90, multiply by 100. Yes. Or into 10 by 9, whatever that works for you, right? So into 10 by 9 if I do here. Yes. That is what? 800 by 9. Can you quickly tell me what is 800 by 9, guys? 800 by 9 is 8 by 9 in terms of percentages, which is what? 8 multiplied with 11. So this would be what? 88.88 bar. Correct? So B is at 100 meters. When B is at 100 meters, C would be at 88.88, which means the distance between these two guys is how much? 11.11 bar or 11.12 meters approximately. Yes. Clear? Yeah. So we can say, because we now have the ratio of their speeds also, ratio of their distances, since it is at the same time, right? This will be at t time, t seconds. This is also at t seconds. This is also at t seconds, which means time is constant. If time is constant, what happens to speed and distance? Directly proportional. Got it? Everyone? Superb, superb. Yes, so this is another concept of races that is usually asked in some questions, if not directly, indirectly. Yeah. Now for the last question of today, here is a question for you guys. Quickly answer this question. Let's see who can come up with the answer real quick. Correct, Arju, correct. Silly mistake. Yes, so 10 meters is very obvious an answer. Yes, guys, 10 meters is very obvious an answer for the previous question. So that was wrong. Yeah. Here's a question for you guys. In a 100-meter race, X running at 5 kilometers an hour gives Y a head start of 8 meters and still beats him by 8 seconds. What is Y's speed? Yes, they're asking for Y's speed. Yes, quickly answer, read this question, understand the scenario, and then go for the solution. Yes, race is 100 meters long. Yeah, the track is what? 100 meters long. Yes, now what does the question say? X runs at 5 kilometers per hour and gives Y a head start of 8 meters, which means for X. Yes, consider this X and Y. Yes, distance would be what? X would run the entire 100 meters, correct? But Y would run 8 seconds, 8 meters less. Why? Because there's a head start. So X starts here, Y would start here. There is a 8-meter gap between them. Yes. So he would cover only 92 meters for the entire race. Yes. In spite of doing that, what is told to us? That he still beats him by 8 seconds. Yes, X still beats him by 8 seconds, which means if the time, right, the time taken by X is what? So X runs at 5 kilometers an hour to cover 100 meters. How many seconds would it take him? Yes, so convert 5 kilometers per hour into meters per second. What do we do? Into 5 by 18, which is how much? 25 upon 18. Yes. So the speed of X is what? 25 upon 18 meters per second. Yes. So time would be how much then? Time would be how much? Distance by speed. Yes. So 100 meters over speed. That is what? 25 by 18. So I take a reciprocal. This will become into 18, which is how much? 4 times. 4 times 18 is what? 72 seconds, right? So the time taken by X to cover the entire race is 72 seconds, which means Y would cover it in what? 8 seconds more. Yes, so time taken by Y is what? 80 seconds. Now, what does the question ask? The question asks, what is Y speed? Yes, Y speed is what? What is speed, guys? Speed is nothing but distance over the time. Here, please keep in mind, guys, the distance is not 100 meters. Y covers only 92 meters. So 92 by 80, which is nothing but 20 times 4. This is 92. Okay. So this will be what? 23. Yeah. So 23 by 20 meters per second. The question, the answer choices are in kilometers per hour. So we'll have to convert this into meters per second. Sorry, into kilometers per hour, which is what? Into 18 by 5. Yes. So this would give us what? This would become 100. So let's not cancel anything out. Don't cancel anything out because this becomes 100. All you have to do is what? 23 into 18. Yes. So 23 into 20 is what? 460. 460 minus 46 would be what? 414. 414 by 100 is how much? 41.4 4.14 kilometers an hour, which is what? Answer choice B. Yes, correct. So 4.14 kilometers an hour was an answer. Yes, and if you've gotten that as the answer, amazing job, amazing job. Yogesh, it is my pleasure in helping you, right? It's my pleasure helping you get whatever information you need that will help you crack CAT. Yes. Yeah. Okay. So great. So this was my time, guys. Yes, I hope you guys enjoyed today's session. I hope you guys learned a lot in today's session. Yes. Thank you, Yogesh, for your compliment. Thank you very much, man. And I appreciate your gratitude as well. Yes. Ankush, yes, that's the plan. We'll be covering the entire syllabus here. Yeah. Okay. So here's my time, guys. Before you leave, before you start leaving, I want you to like this video. I want you to share this with as many people as you can. Yes. If you want to be a part of the community that we have, if you haven't already joined it, download the Telegram app, type in this address, tinyurl.com/Unacademy chat. This particular link has recently been sent in your chat box also. So all you have to do is what? Click on this link and you'll be done. Yes. If you're planning on talking to me personally, then my name is Amit Surana. I hope you guys remember that. And this is my Telegram ID. I already have a lot of conversations happening right now with a lot of you. If you have any questions, any guidance you need, just any conversation you want to thank me for a session, anything you'd want to do, right? Always have someone to talk to. Yes, Amit_Surana is my Telegram ID. You can always contact me. Yes. And the Unacademy subscription, guys. Unacademy subscription, apart from the live classes and the interaction that we are having right now at YouTube, apart from that, also that will be done in a better environment, in a more focused environment. Yes. If you're planning on doing that, quick benefits with Unacademy's Plus subscription is what? Leaderboards that will help you understand where you stand with respect to your competition, test series and analysis, and the best part is live doubt clearing sessions. Yes. If you're planning on doing it, quickly install Unacademy's learning app, go to the Plus for CAT, subscribe for a year, 2 years, 6 months, 3 months, 1 month, anything, whatever plan you think is feasible for you. But do not forget to use this code Surana Live, where Surana is my last name. Surana Live, if you use, you will get a special discount of 10% because I referred you into this. Yes. Thank you very much, guys. Today has been extremely beneficial. I hope you guys have liked this video already. If you haven't already done it, please do it. Subscribe to this video. Share it with as many people as you can, guys. Let them know that this is happening. Do some good to the society. Collect some good deeds. Yes, you'll probably need it. Yeah. Thank you very much, guys. If you're planning on sharing any of this on your social media platforms, if you want to talk about how well your Saturday went today, you can always do that. Do not forget to tag #CAT Live Daily. Yes. Until then, thank you very much, guys. I will see you tomorrow again at 6:30 p.m. and I will come up with more questions from CAT. So we'll be looking at actual CAT questions with regards to time, speed, and distance. Thank you very much, guys. Until then, good night. Have a great Saturday.